What's good, my friend? Happy Wednesday. Good night.
Happy Wednesday, my friend. Sorry.
Hey, thanks, man. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. As you can see, my background is changing once again. So would like to welcome everybody. I am your host, Adam Halbleib, Beach Bum Exotics. You can find me under Beach Bum Exotics on Instagram, Facebook. If you're looking for some cool snakes, check out my morph market. I did get Reptile ads updated the other day, and I am now verified. So I'm over on Reptile ads. That site is actually super cool. Check it out if you guys haven't seen it. A lot of, same stuff as kind of morph market, but I think it works better. I like how it works a little bit better. So I'm going to start using Reptile ads. With me, I've got my awesome co-host. Take it away, sir.
Shane Kelley, Small Town Exotics. You can find me on smalltownexotics.com, Reptile ads, Patreon, all the other places, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all those things. And our wonderful technical producer who does all of our technical wizardry behind the scenes is Jay from Greenline Morphs. You can find him on Reptile ads, Morph Market, and Instagram. I think I got it all. All right.
Yeah. Good job.
Let's do some house cleaning because I'm stressed out about forgetting stuff.
Do it.
All right. So everyone, this is our last show of the year and we will see you in 2026. All right. Good night. No.
Not like last episode where we just pulled the plug.
No, but this is our last episode. Adam and I are going to be celebrating the holidays with our families, as will most of you. So we will be back the first Wednesday in January. And then after this show is over, jump on over to Morph Forge, their YouTube channel. They'll be doing a live with all of this year's 15 Minutes of Lame contestants. So that's got to be a great time over there.
Yeah. Yep. Good. I'm heading over there right after we get done. So that way I could sit and chat and see what's going down. 15 Minutes of Lame. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else going on with your week, man? Any reptile news or anything?
No, I brought up the snake last week. So, I had some laptop issues and I don't know. But, I'm here tonight on a laptop. That's all that matters. I'm not on a phone. So thankfully, I got a real mic and all that. So I'm happy for that. Other than that, not much is going on. This is kind of like my little slow. I got everything brewmating that's colubrid related. Pairing boas right now for the first time ever. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's different. I cool them down and back up in the day. So they're in a separate part of the house. And I'm just watching that go on. That's pretty cool. So, like I said, it's different. And,
are you doing locality or morph stuff over with the boas?
Both. So I got Tara Humaras, which are the small ones. They're paired up. And then I also have Sonorans so they're pure Sonorans species wise, and they have their own morphs. So there's some morphs involved there, a rare type of anery that's specific to Sonorans, and then leopard and hypo in that pairing. So everything's going to be het for anery and then hypo and leopard. So
dude, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I don't know too much about the boas, but I like some of the famous kind of morph stuff like the moon glow and those they've always looked beautiful, right? So that's awesome. You're doing that. Look at you over here, multi-species. How many species?
Oh man, I think I'm at like I got a bunch, but I think reptile wise I'm at 5 or 6 successfully produced, and then the boas will be one more. I'll get a count. I'll update everyone in 2026. How about that?
Nice. There you go. Knocking it off your list. Awesome, man. Hell yeah. Well, that's cool. Let's check out chat here. We've got some people joining, which we always appreciate. Everybody jumping in. Let's see. Who do we got up there first? Definitely giving it to Catalina Morph Mixer. That's first. Shane, always in there. Jay, what's up? We got Billy in the house tonight. Well, thanks for stopping by, sir. Appreciate you. Definitely. Good evening. Let's see who else we have. We have Shauna. Thank you. Always in chat. We do appreciate you. Let's see. Stephen Tinsley, 8815. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you as well. And, jump in if you know these people as I'm going through butchering user handles. How you doing, Josh? Alicia Herpenharbin's in the house, always in there. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. 319 Reptiles. Thank you as well for showing up tonight. We've got some good stuff ahead of us, some educational, some stuff that I think will help everybody out. Gus Lowe, thank you for joining as well. Adrian, you're out there. Rameries, I saw you in the chat in there. Who else? Let's see. If I missed you, I do apologize. Like I was saying, we've got a good guest lined up tonight. It's going to be one of these nice, like, quality of life things that we're going to be talking about today. It's something that, as a keeper, a breeder, or anybody interested in reptiles, this is going to apply to you. So I'm excited. Shane, you want to do the official intro, my friend?
Yeah. So you may not have seen him, but I guarantee you've used his products or heard of them. So this is Husbandry Pro. I'm a day one user. He's also the guy that designed my website. He's worked on reptile ads, and now he has a new project. So let's bring him out and let him talk about it. What's up, Robert?
Hey, guys. Not too much. I'm actually back online. I haven't been doing a pod. Last time I did a podcast, probably about a year ago, a little longer maybe. But in the beginning, I was doing a bunch. So this is getting back to familiar territory. So I got to start doing a little more of these. But everything's good. Good. Another product out the door, and back to some other work on Next HP. So that's where we're at.
Well, before we get too far into the technical stuff, I just want you to qualify a little bit for the audience. You mentioned behind the scenes. How long have you been in reptiles?
I got my first reptile at 42 years ago, and I guess pet store. I got a job in a reptile pet store at 16, and I was in the industry importing for about another 10 or 15 years. Moved over to the tech industry for a while. Built a decent sized company there, and then came full circle back and started breeding again about 15 years ago, somewhere around that. And then that turned into, Husbandry Pro because of the pandemic. We were bored. I had staff that they had nothing to do with technology. They hadn't nothing to work on at the time. So we started Husbandry Pro, and that's where we are today, right? Just still working on tech in this industry. So I've kind of been able to marry my passion with technology. So when you can do that, it's fantastic. So and that's where we're at today, just building products for the industry.
Yeah, and I like to say as a user, it's great that you know all the technical stuff that I don't, but you also understand reptile talk. Right. So that's super handy. Like, I don't know what the technical side is, but here's the reptile side of what I'm trying to do, and you make it happen. So
well, and that's the thing, and you know what? And I say it with my developers all the time too. Is it's easy to teach them the technology. They can't learn the other stuff. Right. It's really hard to teach unless you have hands-on with reptiles. Right. It's really hard to understand the nuances and everything else. So I've been in a unique position, and luckily with the success of Husbandry Pro, I've been able to step back of necessarily typing all the time and making code to doing more of the design and doing more of the direction and getting the staff to do kind of the technical stuff, right? So I think everything on the outside is mine, and then I get the staff to go in and do the actual development and stuff. So getting those two things together is difficult. So we've been lucky that way, and that I do understand that. And you know what? It's also, I've had so many conversations with people like Billy, the Harbins, you, Adam, the other Adam, I always call him
proper Adam. We call him.
Exactly, proper Adam. About the industry. I've learned so much from you guys and just talking to people and everything else. So all that feedback for me, and I gotta shout out to Genetic Genesis too. Pain in the ass, fantastic, because they bug us all the time about stuff. So it's all this feedback that I get from everybody. It's been so welcoming, and the community's just been fantastic for us. So. And that's why we keep doing it. And that's why we do projects like to genetic calculator, right, for the community. And we're looking forward to doing more of that kind of stuff.
So how did the genetic calculator come about before we dive into the details on it? How did it come about?
About a year and a half ago, maybe a little longer because it's been delayed. We decided that Husbandry Pro, the tech stack that it was built on is PHP, which is a fairly old programming language. But that's just the language I knew. So that, we built Husbandry Pro to a point where it just became almost not manageable anymore from a code standpoint. So what happened was we decided to look at another technology stack, and that was React and Next.js. And we just found that it was so much faster, so much better, but we were just learning. And when the capability of that programming language just far exceeded what we were able to do. But in the last year and a half, so much has happened in technology. It's like, when people talk about AI and programming, they say that every year that we advance is like 10 years before, right? So in a year from now, at my fingertips, I will have the knowledge that would have taken me 10 years, right, to develop going forward. So much has changed in such a short period of time that we decided and we needed to stabilize things, because we were taking Husbandry Pro and we were turning it into Husbandry Pro Next, just in a faster version. And that, as time went on and as AI became more useful to us, we sat back and said, okay, it's a different thing completely. And we don't want to just rebuild one thing, which is what we were going to do. Like when I announced Next HP early and I showed people screens because we were so excited how fast we were moving, right? But in moving that fast, we realized we were missing so much more that was available to us. And being able to, because things were changing so fast, we needed a stable base. And the base of Husbandry Pro is genetics, is species, is all that information. It's not code, it's information, right? If we could build the best system ever, but if it had garbage information in it, it's useless. People are going to turn around and walk away, right? So I think that's where genetic calculator started. I built a genetic calculator that was a standalone engine that we were going to use to power Husbandry Pro, the initial version, and Husbandry Pro Next. So it was one code base that was going to feed these two things. And then I got high a couple times and stuff got out of control. My mind I went down rabbit holes.
You got some good ideas, you were saying.
Great, you know what? I'll tell you. And it went from this little base product that we were going to use as an engine to something that we could really harness to get real good information. And it even evolved beyond that to something that we thought we could give back to the community and have the community involved in, getting this information really accurate, really thorough, and as complete as possible. And that's where genetic calculator, it's like, it's not just a calculator anymore, right? It's going to be a really great species database and everything else going forward, right? And that's why it started, because we needed an engine that could hold information and be manageable, and we didn't have to fix it here. And then when the Reptile ads deal came along, it was like, okay, well, why are we going to replicate this data here, in old Husbandry Pro, in new Husbandry Pro, in Reptile ads, and then it's not our data. Let's make it available to everybody. So that's kind of the future too, is that, it's not just ours, it's everybody's. So the product is now launched, and we're going to see where it goes from here based on the community.
Right. Well, yeah, that's great. And something I want to bring up that I think is really cool in there is there's all the genetics and the species and all that stuff, but like that identify section, super cool idea. Like you post a picture, There's the genetics. You can upvote, downvote. Oh, I'm 90% sure my identification's correct. Then you can get feedback from multiple people. And it doesn't have to be just your friends. Like you can get feedback from anybody and take all that into consideration. So
Yeah,
that's something I'm looking forward to using with people that want help ID and stuff. So
right. And you know what? Not everybody can afford testing all the time, right?
Right.
And at the end of the day, it becomes a very big educational tool. So as people learn, right, from that system, you know, Billy, I had long conversations with Billy. It's like, you know, I don't want to just go in and guess all these things and tell people what their animals are, right? I want to go in and I want to tell them what I think the animal is. I want to write why I think the animal is that way. And then I want to go mark it on the screen, right, to show them exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
And you know what? It's right now, if you want to browse animals, where do you go to browse animals? You go to Morph Market or you go to Reptile Ads or whatever, right? That's kind of where you're going to go look at pictures. I don't know that you necessarily need to be bombarded with pricing and a sales pitch just going and browsing animals. So that's something that, you know, the site with the gallery section, but it's all connected, right? So we've got the calculator, right, which is the main, you know, if you want to do some calculations, come and we've got, you know, 16 different species and away you go, start calculating, you know, with Punnett squares on what the results will be. But not only that is that every time you get a result, we want to have a picture with it, right? So then you take that picture, well, why don't we just build a gallery, right? So people can go search animals and just browse and check out really awesome animals. Because if you go and look wherever, you don't know that they're necessarily the genes that are listed, right? There's a lot of
Google Images returns some crazy results, right?
Exactly. Right. So at least now we're curated too, right? You know, we have species managers that will take a look at all submissions and say, you know, yeah, that is a good representation of the animal, or it's not a good representation of the animal. So you're going to be fairly sure when you go online at the gallery that, you know, this is according to, you know, the species manager, you know, Shane is there, the Harbins are there, and, you know, others, and these people have been in the business a while. They kind of know what, you know, to look for and what not to look for. But other people can make comments on it too and say, you know what, that doesn't really look like a Bambino, right? It you know, to me. So then we take it back and we say, okay, it's under review now, and things like that. But all these things that we've done with the site are connected to each other, because when you submit a photo, well, now we can put it in the gallery, and now, you know, it becomes a good representation of the gene. If the score was 100 or 90%, you know, if we've accepted that animal as a good representation of it, right? So all the photos are going to flow through the whole thing too, right? So it ended up becoming a little bit more than that, right? Just the genes, the calculations.
Yeah, I like the fact that that there's some level of vetting associated with it too, because like when you go somewhere else, any sell site, pick your poison or whatever, that's you're just seeing what that one breeder says his animal is. But in genetic calculator, it'll be vetted. Like, you know, you'll have the person submitting it, the manager approving it, the community saying, yes, I think it is. No, I think it's not. And why? And so there's a level of vetting there that I like that. So,
but you know, I'm not good at identifying, right? So for me, I sat back and I said, okay, well, how could I use this thing, right? I've produced it, you know, I'm also colorblind, right? So that's not very helpful. So it's you know, and there aren't many people around me that can look at my animals and say, you know, this is this and this is that. So, you know, it's a little bit selfish too, you know, put it up there. In Canada, we don't have, you know, shed testing as readily available, right? It's certainly not as cheap. So it's something that, you know, for people like me, it's perfect, right? I'm not a high level breeder. I don't know the genes as they come out. I breed a lot of different species. So it's not, you know, ball pythons, that kind of thing are not high on my list, right? Of you know, stuff that I have. So, so for me, I just, what would I like to see in a site that is not trying to sell me something that I can get some real good information from, right? There aren't a lot of those anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, because back in the day we had World of Ball Pythons was kind of like one of this, you know, that predates all of Morph Market and all that. Exactly. And that was not really vetted stuff, or it kind of was, but by one guy, which bottlenecked it, and some, you know. And now I'm happy to hear this because I think the vetting is huge. The community input is amazing. People will feel also like there is an opportunity from what I'm hearing to like, oh, hey, I see something on here. I don't think it's labeled correctly. They can throw that flag, right? Which is really important because not everybody's perfect, right? And sometimes when something gets out on the internet, holy crap, is it hard to get it removed, right?
Yep.
So,
for sure. And I think one of the other really important things that you know, I'm because I'm also a businessman, right? This is my full-time gig, you know, and I always look at how can I benefit, you know, you guys that sell. How do we do that? So, you know, in Husbandry Pro, we do a lot of seller tools and things like that. In you know, Reptile Ads, when we help them out, we found the connection between Husbandry Pro and Reptile Ads to make it super easy for you to transfer your animals. So the same thing with this is how can we benefit people who are helping us, right? So when you sign up for Genetic Calculator, you go in and you can set your watermarking and your photo attribution, right? Or I don't even know how to say that word sometimes, but you set that, and when you upload a photo, when somebody clicks the little eye on there, it shows your business name, gives a link to your website, your Facebook, whatever you want to put on there, right? Your profile is there too. So if you submit a freeway, you know, ball python today, and it gets approved to go into the gallery, from today forward, that doesn't change, right? Anybody that uses that photo through our API is also required to show your business name and information.
Oh, that's cool.
With that photo, right? So that's part of the terms when you go to use the API. So you submitting your photo to us is a little different than what it would have been submitting it to World of Ball Pythons. You would throw it up there. Somebody would say yes and throw it on, right? Nobody ever talks about whether that's a good representation or not, whether it's anything. It doesn't benefit the guy that put it up there really, because there's no way you got to go now search for this guy, right? With our system, you're going to end up putting up the photo of the animal. And then as I'm browsing and I'm saying, holy shit, look at that animal. I want one. I see the Harbin's name at the top of that. I just got to click on that. It's contact information. I can either contact them through the site or however else they've listed. You can put your Reptile Ads thing on there. You can put your Facebook page on there. You can put all that on there. And then go and buy an animal. So just submitting photos is free advertising.
Right.
And just participating.
Just participating, you're going to have free advertising. Right. So those things were always real important to me, because I'll tell you, developing a site like this is you know, it was 3 to 4 months of my full time. And I'm telling you, that's not cheap. Right. So we're not looking on this product to get money, right? We're not trying to make money on this thing. We are going to have some advertising eventually that'll hopefully offset some costs, but that's not the main goal. The main goal really is to build a really good data product, right? A product that has the best data instead of going to all these other places, right, where they're trying to sell you something necessarily. Right. So like our focus really, and you know what, any species, if somebody wants to manage, if somebody says, hey, I'm an expert in lychees, right? If they want to manage the lychee species, we will put the lychee species in there, right? Any type of king snakes, any type of, you know, even hots, we would put in hots, right? If somebody wanted to manage those species, because it's not just a bunch of pretty photos. It's also, you know, the managers have the ability to update. And the managers are independent, right? They're going to go in and they're going to manage their species as best they can, right? So we've got a great Burmese manager, right? He has all the species in North America in his collection, right? He owns them. So he knows a ton about them. So, you know, long chats we've had, he's going to be building out everything about them. The breeding information will be there, and accurate information, not just AI information, like real world. These guys that wrote, you know, the species information, it's real world information, right? It's not stuff that, you know, we've been passing on that isn't necessarily, you know, true, like using Vapona strips in your cage. You know, it happens. I don't know if people do that anymore, but
you still hear about it.
For me. Yeah. Well, that was all we did 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Get frowned on it today.
Yeah, as times change, yeah,
For
it's
sure,
one of
for
the
sure.
things.
I like the fact though, like you said, you go to a genetic calculator and there's not a sales pitch there. It's neutral ground
It's just
basically. It
learning.
doesn't really matter where you're marketing your animals. You go
Right.
there, it's neutral ground, and
Right,
you know,
exactly. It's neutral ground, and it's something that it's going to keep everybody honest. We're going to have, there's lots of reporting features to say if something is not good, if it's good. And really, I'm hoping that, it's built to handle budgies and beta fish and everything, right? I have those species in there. They're just turned off right now. So at the end of the day, if you're putting your animal photos on and you're promoting through the site, you're going to expose yourself eventually to people that keep other species, not just reptiles and amphibians, but pet people in general, right? So it's one of those things that up in Canada here, we have the Canadian Reptile Breeders Expo. You've been, Shane, I think. And you know what, Grant, back in the day, it used to be just the CRBE. And I worked for Grant for a period of time, consulting and doing development and things like that. And that's when we had decided to add regular pets to the CRBE, right? And it's like the CRBE, the reptile people didn't necessarily want all the other pet people at this thing at the same time. But what happened was you went from this show that was this big to this show that was this big, and you still had your reptile customers, but you were bringing in all these other customers to get their eyes. And I'll tell you, guaranteed everybody else's sales went up. Right. Yeah. So along the same way, right, we're trying not to keep the ball python people here, right, and everybody else over here, right? We're trying to get all these species and all the information to be available at the touch of a button, so that when you're not squirreling necessarily on Instagram for kitten photos, maybe you're, looking at other species that you may want to keep, and you see that, those breeders online here. Right.
Go doom scroll some reptiles and
exactly.
then happen into kittens and then into fish, and you never know.
We're not going to do kittens, I don't think. But birds.
Sorry. I got a little carried away.
I think we'll do anything that there's a really good genetic, reason to do it. Right. We have rats are in there. We're going to do isopods. Right. Isopods are coming. I'm talking to somebody about doing spiders. Right. That wouldn't be really genetics, right? The calculator part doesn't kind of come into that. But
wants to know plants. Are you putting plants in there?
You know what? Plants is a thing too, right?
Yeah, it is. Right. Yeah.
And IDing a plant. I said that to my wife. We went into a store the other day and they had plants everywhere. And I'm like, holy crap. That's another thing we can do, right? Is we can add plants to the database, right? And people can come in and ID it. Here's the difference is, when the identify thing came up, I had a lot of people ask me, well, why don't you just do AI for ball pythons, right? Throw a picture up, have AI figure it out and tell you what's in it. It's impossible. We are years and years and years and years away from that. I know everybody thinks it can happen, but I've been wrong before, but it's at least a couple of years away before we can even start to get close to that. With plants, they can do that now, right? You can get an app that takes a picture and tells you what the plant is, right? And that's just
good accuracy.
Yeah. And that comes from communities and this is the way you get there, right? To the AI stuff, because the only way that you can determine that, that animal has all these different genes in it is to see representations of it. And we're not just talking one or two, we're talking hundreds and thousands of pieds to see that this is just a pied and that's all it is. And it has nothing else in it. You need to have a lot of history, right? So guys like, Billy, who have been around forever, they have a ton of history where they've seen these animals so many times, right? So they naturally get better at identifying them. Yeah. With AI, it's exactly the same way. We need to fire 1,000 pictures of that gene combination into AI in order for it to accurately predict that again. Right. And the way to get there is from systems like Genetic Calculator, right? Because we're cataloging it, right? Or
makes sense.
Yeah. Or taking the information from reptile ads, but how much of that is accurate, right? And morph market and things like that, right? So we're just trying to build a good, sophisticated base that is true, right? Everything in here we're hoping is true. there's going to be mistakes, but at the end of the day, hopefully it gets vetted enough over time, right? And that's all about the community. And it's all, again, when we started Husbandry Pro, it was like, well, we're going to see how the community reacts, right? Same with this. We'll see. I'm super excited about this because everybody I've talked to, right, has said this is amazing and it's going to, solve a lot of headaches, and it will be a great place if everybody starts using it. And I think, I think we'll see in the new year that will start picking up a lot, and over the holidays, maybe as people have time. And we launch without beta. Once you take beta off, we'll say, it's open to everybody. Here we go. And then we start on phase 2. But we're going to have a WordPress plugin, right? So anybody who has WordPress can get the plugin, and then they can have a genetic calculator on their WordPress site. It's pretty cool. We're going to do it in Shopify, right? Shopify was supposed to go down. I had heard, was it a year ago? Do you remember that, Shane?
Yeah.
I think Redline was talking about that a year and a half ago. They weren't supposed to be. So we pulled the Husbandry Pro plugin then. We stopped developing that, but that hasn't materialized. So we may go back with a Shopify plugin again, where you can put the calculators on and you can get images on your site and things like that. So, and that will all be available. API, any programmers who, have a need for genetics can program right against our API, and it will always be available. And it'll be free, but we're not going to be charging for that kind of stuff. We're not going to charge for things other than things that will cost us more money, right? If they cost, we have a feature like the identify system, right? Everything's free right now, but there is a group, for you to upload, instead of just one animal for identify, you can upload a whole group, right? Like a whole clutch. And that you can do now for free. But eventually that will be kind of a $5 a month. You can do as many as you want. Yeah. You get kind of a premium level.
Tier, right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just because, us storing a few images, not a big deal. If you start uploading a whole clutch, right, which is, you're going to want to put up, 4 pictures per animal, right? 3-4 pictures.
Could easily be 30 to 40, 50 pictures.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
At high quality, right? Over time, we're going to be storing, terabytes of information.
Oh, easy,
right. So there has to be something there. So there are going to be some tier things, but just that one tier, that's it. And, we'll get any revenue we need from advertising space and things like that, which will be available in the new year too. But again, it's going to be minimal, right? Jump on it early because those spots I'm sure are going to fill up.
Yeah. And I like that you're offering other people the chance to have access to the API and build against it. I mean, that's pretty cool. Like an open source for the community thing, like the whole spirit of it is great. Thank you for that, Robert.
And it's one of those things that it's not my data. I'm just building a system to collaborate it all, right? To put it all together and have peer reviewing and everything else. It's not, and that's why and you know what, when you upload your photo, it automatically watermarks if you choose to have it. So your photo, if you're concerned about it getting anywhere or whatever, well, once you upload it, it'll be watermarked, and then your name and business will be on that wherever that image goes, right? People can't use it for commercial purposes, but they can use it as examples and things like that in the API.
Yeah. Still free advertising.
Exactly. How can you complain, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, so with it being in beta right now, if somebody listening or hears this in a week or two is interested in participating, is there a way for them to kind of reach out and
they can do it today? So it's what we're in today is what's called open beta, right? So we went through the closed beta, and that I think went to November 28th, where only a handful of people came in, and then we went into open beta, which means anybody can register. The only thing we ask is, if you see a bug, please report it. That's all we ask. So everybody can sign up. We are taking applications for managers. We're still onboarding managers. So anybody who wants to be a species manager, they can apply right on the site. Just go to the species. There's a box up top. If there isn't a manager there, hit apply. We're going to have 3 managers per species. And that's only because eventually there may be a lot of photos coming in, right? Because, right now you can connect Husbandry Pro. You can go to, your contribution page, and, if you are a Husbandry Pro user, you can click connect, and it will pull in all the photos of all the animals you have, allow you to check off the ones that you want to submit, and you hit submit. Awesome. I don't know it could be any easier than that to get, 50, 60, 70 photos up if you have those, right? And you're sure that's what the genetics are, right? I don't think there's any easier advertising than that, right? Up they go, right. We approve them, into the gallery they go, right?
Yeah.
So
I did some last night or the night before. It was super easy. Just connect. It preloads everything I already had in the Husbandry Pro, and I just check them off. Yep, exactly. Upload those ones. Away we go.
Exactly. Right. So if you've got some great, and I love the people who really take great pride in their photos. I'm not a good photo taker. I throw whatever in, but both ways, right? Whether it's
I was just about to ask that. You read my mind. Okay, cool.
Either way, you know what? Like if you have a picture that is a great picture of the animal and the background looks like crap, who cares? We care about the photo of the animal, right? We're not really concerned about the rest. But again, people are going to be drawn to the photos that go, wow, right? And that's just like when you sell on any of the platforms, right? You're going to want the best photos you can possibly get, right? I'm not good at it at all. But.
So up to this, at this point, there's no restriction. Like everything has to be on a white or black background. You guys are.
No, I think we would limit so much because that white or black, the background color kind of thing is a ball python thing. Like I don't know if I've ever seen many. I haven't seen many lizards, right, that are on white or they're usually on something. Like a forest floor or something like that. You know what I mean? Or in the cage or whatever. We're not limiting by speed. Like I don't go into any of this stuff that I do, even though ball python people are our biggest with Husbandry Pro and they're the biggest on the marketplaces and everything else. I never look at it from that point of view. I have, probably 10 different species or 12 different species. I'm just not I am a ball python guy too, but I have a lot of different species. And whenever we build anything, we always think, how does everybody use it? We used to have what we called Billy problems, right? Because Billy was always, hey, this isn't working.
Billy's a problem, or these are I'm sorry.
They're problems unique to Billy because he would go, Rob, this isn't working. Like early on in Husbandry, Rob, this isn't working. Well, what'd you try to do? Well, I tried to import 400 animals. Well, fuck, Billy, nobody has those problems except you. Okay, those are what we call Billy problems, right? Back then, it was rare that we were talking about sorting 1,000 animals, right? That's not that's not for most people. So we always have those problems. So we figure those out as they go along. And the way the software is written now, we don't have those problems anymore because everything can scale so well now that we can't do with the original HP. Just the new platform and everything else, everything scales really well that way.
And tech is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to add that anyone out there listening and wants to go submit some photos, like if you go back to what Robert was saying earlier, anyone that hovers over it, it's going to have your company name and stuff there. So maybe you want to submit good photos, so it's like a free ad, just saying.
No dirty drawers or socks in the pics. Come on, guys.
We don't need cigarette butts and beer cans,
No snakes around the neck of kids.
I have some good ones though.
We'll limit those, I think. But I think what it's just so we also have things like and it's all going to depend on what the community wants to do. I do have a world's first system, but I'm hesitant even to talk about that. And it's one of those things that we'll get together with the managers and say, is this somewhere we even want to go? Because that could open a completely different can of worms that I don't necessarily want to get into, right? That, is that drama land? I don't know. We have a full forum system ready to flip the switch. I just don't know if I want to be that guy, right? That has to, have one of my staff watching the forums all the time. The other thing we do have, and the other thing that we've really concentrated on, is we are leveraging AI whenever we can in all our systems going forward. So right now, if you do leave a comment that says, fuck you, yada, yada, it is going to score that a certain way. And it's going to be a hidden comment. until such time as the administrators go and look at it and make sure that it's okay. So it gets scored a few different ways, and depending on how spammy it is or whatever, it will be flagged, right, as it goes in. So we've kind of reduced a lot of that kind of stuff too, where we're trying to build, we're happy, the gallery, there's a, open the conversation or start the convo on every photo, on every, on almost everything. We're going to allow people to have open dialogue. So when you go to the gallery, there is a, if you take a look at a photo, you can say, start the convo or join the convo, right? Either of those things. And we want people to say, damn, that's a great looking snake, bro. That's the kind of stuff we want in there. We don't necessarily want huge, massive debates on the gallery photos. The identify photos, that's what you want there, right? You want the dialogue about what is this animal, right? Is it really, do you see that? Or why do you think it's that way? We want all those things. But you can comment on other people's. So when you go and you look at an identity, so let me start by saying, when you do the identify system, you'll send, you'll post the animal photo, you'll post the parent's lineage, and it will give you options, and then you guess what you think it is, and you give everything a confidence score too. So as time goes on, you will see people commenting on your identify and their confidence level on it, and other people can reply to those also, right? So it's a completely open dialogue on, I don't think that has Mojave in it, and I'm 80% or 95% confident, right, that that's what it is. Other people can then reply to that, right, and give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And as those thumbs up and thumbs down over time happen, you're going to increase your reputation with the platform, right? Right. So it's kind of like a feedback system on people participating. Right. So we've also got like LinkedIn, you can actually build your profile to the point where you're calling yourself an expert in whatever and whatever and whatever. And your colleagues and your friends can go and, acknowledge that or not. Right. They can say, yes, he is, a ball python expert. Right. So, yeah. So, and we've also added a component that we're still building out a little bit of, leaderboard kind of things where I've done 10 searches, for genetics. So you get a little badge that says I've done 10.
Flare.
Exactly.
Gonna be able to rock the flare.
Exactly. Right. So we have a bunch of different ones. There's a bunch of hidden ones, right? And we'll build those out more as time goes on. So you could get a list of badges that is 50 long eventually. And if you look at the system now too, it also records every calculation that's done, right? So, and this data will be available to everybody in a research platform, right? In a research section, where I think over time, and I'm hoping over time, the more people are searching for these things, I think the savvy breeder could probably go in there and start analyzing that data and see what people are searching for, what they're calculating, what they're interested in, what the number one genes are. And I'm not just talking about, what's the number one gene for sale. It's the number one gene that people are talking about, right?
Searching
or they're investigating or trying to play with or whatever, right?
It's like SEO data, basically.
Exactly. Right? And that's really what and it's really, we record all that stuff, right? It's all public, right? So as time goes on, we'll just find better ways to, give that data back, right? And that's what the platform really is about. It's about building that data and then giving it back to everybody, right? And just letting them have it, right? And selfishly, in the process, I'm going to have a fantastic genetic database to build my other platforms on top of. Right. So really, it's
a win-win.
Yeah, it's a mutual benefit.
It's a win for everybody, right? For sure.
Yeah, that's a good angle. I didn't even think about that. I'm glad you brought that up about like it's saving the searches. So maybe there's a graph somewhere along the way, like, hey, these genes are,
there is
being talked about the most.
Yeah, there is right now when we go to stats, right? We go into the stats section, it'll show the last calculations that were done, the most popular calculations, charts, all that stuff. And as we get more of that data, we will just get more and more different ways to look at that data. And we have an app coming out. So the app should be out in mid-January, I'm thinking, right? So we will have a handheld app version of it.
Okay, that's me. I'm an app for everything. Until
you're iOS. You're iOS,
aren't
you? Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You get it last then.
Hey,
not by choice. Not by choice. It's just we develop Android and then we convert it. So
it's all right. You got to save the best for last. I get it.
Yeah, that's what we always have to tell the kids that go last.
Hey, I'm in the Mac ecosystem, man. Like I'm there. It just all works. I don't know. It just works. That's all I know.
It does. And I you know what? I have nothing against Mac and Mac products and everything else. And for somebody who isn't super computer savvy,
he's calling you dumb.
You're right. They work. And that's
it just works.
And I've been Android all my life. And you know what? I have a Mac somewhere on my desk here, one of those minis, and I have a full blown one downstairs where I let my daughter use. And yeah, I don't touch them ever. Had to go on it last week for one reason. That's it. So
yeah, it's like, what, you give me one button, Mac?
Yeah.
Why one button?
Oh, yeah.
2 buttons, please.
It took me 3 times as long to start a browser that it would normally take. I'll tell you. And I know a thing or two. I don't know.
I don't know. Shane and I get in these debates as well, because I'm a Windows user. I work in technology as well. Yep. I'm now more operations, risk management, stuff like that. But been a Windows user, had Android basically since it came out as well. And, and that's just where my brain always lives. When I get on an Apple, I'm like, people said this is easier. What are they talking about? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. I couldn't find the backspace when I tried my daughter's phone one time. It's brutal. But I actually bought I bought an iPhone. We have an iPhone now, a brand new iPhone. And I know the guys at Genetic Genesis will be happy to hear that, because we don't do a lot of testing on iPhone. We kind of just assume it's going to work, right? So when we build the app, I don't know how fantastic the HP app is in iPhone. I still believe it has a couple of glitches, right? That people have worked around because they mention it sometimes. But yeah, I'm gonna.
If anybody's got an extra iPhone, send it Robert's way.
No, I have one. I have the new one now. I still don't understand how to use it, but
I only notice one glitch because I use my app all the time, and it's sometimes when it'll just go to a white page when I try to load, and then so I just exit out and then click it again, and it fires right up. That's the only thing I've ever noticed. Everything else just works.
Yeah. I don't even know the numbers on iPhone. I know we have a lot of iPhone users, and I know that's somewhere, and that's why we bought an iPhone, right? That's somewhere we need to be next year with the next version. And you know what? Everybody's going to ask when next is coming out.
Man, you read my mind. I was going to close out with that.
So again, just like, we were building Husbandry Pro in a different language is what we were doing. And during our other development of this product and helping with Reptile ads, it became very apparent that we had to change how we were doing that. So we've actually, currently right now you go and you just go and look at your animals, and then you'll go to a different place and you'll go to a different place. I've rebuilt it from almost scratch, where we have now workspaces, and the workspaces can be added very easily. So we have the animals workspace, and then we have the commerce workspace. And basically it will be just a page, or it is just a page with buttons that pertain to that workspace with your data below it. And then anytime you press a button, the panel comes up and you do your thing and the panel goes down. And the panel comes up and the panel comes down. There's no more, go to this page, go 4 more pages that way. We got to zip back here and get back to where we originally were, which is kind of what you do with Husbandry Pro, right? But now you will do panel up, sideways. When you're done, the panel disappears and you're back where you were. There's no,
That's what I like. I want the least amount of button pressing possible because I'm lazy and I get lost real easy. You know,
and literally, you know, I set this computer up. Or this screen up. It's a touch screen. That's what I do with it. And the reason that I did like the Next now is also, it's built more like a Mac, unfortunately. so
yes.
So right now you have, you know, in Husbandry Pro you have a menu on the side, right? We don't have a menu on the side anymore. There's no menu on the side. There's the bottom bar now, right? Which looks the same on your desktop as it does on your mobile, because 72% of our users use mobile, right?
Yeah.
So you know, we brought out the HP as Husbandry Pro with the HP companion app, right? HP Next it's an app that works for everybody instead of, you know, having this companion. So everything is built so that, you know, there's only this version of it and this version of it. It's the exact same thing, and the buttons are going to work the same way, and everything's going to work the same whether you're on the desktop or you're on your phone, right? So right now it looks a little different the way things work. A lot of things are too small to press on the current version. Your finger sometimes goes where it shouldn't. We've really focused on that, and I'll tell you, we've done more work on it in the last 3 months than we did in the last year and a half, right? Because we're leveraging AI, right? And because we have all these other tools that are available to us that it just wasn't possible before. We are just it's just going to be such a better product than it was before. And I'm just super excited about it. So a date, I'm not going to give one. I am going to, some eyes are going to be in there in January, and I'm sure, you know, you're going to be on that list, Shane, because you're such a supporter of us that we really appreciate, and I appreciate your feedback.
Tell the truth. I go in there and I break stuff, and they're like, "We thought it couldn't be broken," but Shane was in there pressing stuff. And...
I'll tell you, there are some people that just naturally, weirdly find bugs faster than other people, and I don't know why. Right? Like I'll have 5 guys in before I even let someone like you take a look at it. 5 other guys will have gone like this to it, right? Before you do, and then the bugs are found, and I don't know how, right?
Yeah,
but it happens. We're getting used to it.
So sometimes it takes the non-tech savvy guy to find the bugs, you know?
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the best QAers are normally like just the average Joe coming in, not the tech, right? They make bad
because
QAers.
because I know how it's supposed to work, so that's what I'm going to do. Right. Shane has no idea how it's supposed to work, so he's just going to press shit.
Whatever's intuitive.
Exactly. What's intuitive? Shane, I should have more people. And that's really what I wanted to do with Husbandry Pro in the beginning. I had everybody coming in, and we were talking about it and stuff. And you know what? It just gets really cloudy, right? So for me, I just, clarity, stepping away, doing other things, and building what, we've built over the last little while. I've also learned more in the last year personally. On a personal level, my growth has been exponential, more in the last year than it has in the last 10, right? Wow. So for me, and that's no shit. I talk to my wife all the time about it, that I can't believe, how ignorant I was before, because I was not, I'm self-taught, right? I'm a self-taught developer, right? And you know what? And I've been doing it for 20 years, right? And I get in, there's times when I actually do the development, there's times when I do the design, and there's times when I just sit back and guide. But getting my hands dirty and that kind of thing was really, really great for me. Even on the WordPress sites, I had meetings with you, Shane. Like I didn't do a lot of the work on the sites, right? But to have me looking at it, right, as it pertains to the industry, right, is the key, I think, right, for us, because it allows me to take my knowledge and apply it to how it should work with tech.
Yeah, and like when I would do my little thing in Slack with your team, and then I would message you too, because I knew what I was envisioning, and I needed you to translate that to the tech guys, and then boom, it just magically happens. I'm like, wow, it's good. It's better than I expected,
Exactly, and because I look at the visual, and I look at what other people have done and what we don't want to do. Yeah, a lot of developers just look at CNN's website and let's replicate that all over the place, right? Or somebody else, some other website they've seen. No, everything really has to be tied in nicely.
Yeah. So are you still offering website builds and stuff too? You want to talk about
I'm
that a
not.
little bit?
No, well, we have something coming
Okay.
that will be a little bit more cohesive. But at the end of the day, in order to get the best possible product that we're happy with, I unfortunately need to spend time on it. Right.
Right.
Like we have two under development still, and that's the Harbins, and we have Xotics still, right?
Right.
Which are two great sites that we have under development. And it's my time. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of my time to sit and make sure, go back and make sure it was done right and everything else. So it's the bottleneck is me, and hopefully I can clear those bottlenecks through Christmas. And then once we get next to the point where my developers are on it more than I'm on it, we'll be launching another product, which is a little bit of hosting, a little bit of SEO, a little bit of all pertaining to the industry.
Right.
Because the other thing is we will have some real world numbers on our SEO. I have one staff member that is SEO certified, and that's all he does, right? Because he works on another company of mine too. And we've ranked, products from 0 to top of Google, right? All the time, right? And that's
Nice.
Exactly. And now that we can move that into this industry a little bit more. And now that we have more platforms that are ranked higher, right? We will be able to add those values also to the website builds.
Nice.
But again, it's staff and it's, time and everything else, because I can't in good conscience just allow one of my staff to work with you guys, right? Because they don't have the knowledge that I have in the industry, right? So that's
it sounds like you got a lot of irons in the fire, Robert.
I have too many.
Right?
I do. One day I'm going to retire. I know I am, but not yet. Another few years for sure.
It's great working with Robert on stuff because it's like our schedules are the complete opposite. So it's like these little messages throughout the day, and then like I'll go do what I need to do at night, message him, and then he'll reply in the morning, and it's weird.
You know what? I'm in my office. I'm up at 5, and I'm in my office anywhere between 6 and 6:30 Eastern, and then I'll work until 4 to 5, and then at night hockey I'm working whatever. But Zach will be in. He'll touch base at 11 o'clock because his schedule. I've already been in for 5 hours with Zach. By the time Zach's even messaging me, right? And then my developers are there up until about 10 in the morning. So I work with them until 10. Then I've got this breather, right, which is kind of nice. So I've gotten into a nice groove now on how I manage the staff and in and out and everything else. And, I always have to say this. My wife we own another business, an embroidery business that I used to be involved in. And she's completely taken that over, and that thing's going fantastic and everything else. So cool. She's supported me in this, that I've been able to give this, my 100% full attention all the time for the last 3 years now.
Right. It's amazing. Good partnership there.
Yeah. It's been amazing for sure.
Well, we are coming up to the top of the hour.
Yeah, I was going to say we didn't want to run into Morphforge because we'd love people to go check out the 15 minutes of lame contestants over there.
Absolutely.
Sure.
But you know what we forgot to do? Where can everyone find Genetic Calculator?
Yeah. How do we get there?
GeneticCalculator.com.
Man, it's easy as that.
That's it.
That was easy, wasn't it?
Super easy.
And it is live now. Go register. It's free.
That's right.
All right. Well, cool. Awesome. And we really appreciate you coming on, sharing. I love these types of episodes that we do, just kind of putting some info out there, getting feedback from people. Just so really appreciate your time with us.
You know what? It was fantastic, guys. I really appreciate the exposure too. We do have a Facebook page. If I think just if you search, I'm sure you'll find it, or go on the Husbandry Pro page. We've linked it a couple times. But if you have any feedback, you can fire it there. There's bug reporting. There's other ways to give us feedback. Tell us if we're doing a good job, bad job. You know what? Even if you hunt me down on Facebook, I'm sure you can send me a message there and tell me if we're doing any good.
Yeah, let me add to that. So wait, let me add to that real quick. Yeah. So if you see a bug while you're in the genetic calculator, report it. Don't assume that they already know about it. Just go ahead and report it. They may not know about it, and they'll get it fixed.
Yep. We have buttons in the back that allows us to just go, yep, we're looking at it. It's done, whatever. It doesn't take us any time. We will look at every bug. And sometimes, you know what, there's even bugs there still that where a gene may not be linked properly, and just let us know. You can also report it to the species manager, go straight to them if it's species related, right? And they can take care of that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well,
Perfect.
good deal.
Cool.
That was
Robert,
awesome,
thanks
guys.
again. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, everybody. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget, go check out Morph Forge over on YouTube. Later, y'all.